Greetings. Welcome to quick tip number 60. Thank you to my beloved patrons on Patreon who help make these videos actually happen. If you enjoy this kind of content, your support is highly appreciated. For $7 a month, you can join my Patreon community, have access to workshops, supplemental materials, and every single quick tip, past, present, and future. Today's quick tip: put 3-beat phrases on 4/4 tunes. Eventually I want to work towards putting this onto fiddle tunes. But first, let's start a little more abstractly. Let's take a chord progression, a vamp, in C major, 4/4. Using a C major scale, exclusively improvise with quarter notes and accent every fourth note starting with beat 1. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Every accent lines up with the bar line. It sounds consonant, it sounds obvious, it makes sense with what you're hearing in the rhythm section. Now, with that same vamp, starting on beat 1, accent every 3 notes. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. After the first grouping of 3, the accent doesn't line up with the bar line until bar 4. This provides some nice syncopation, some nice drama, a certain rhythmic rub against what's going on behind the soloist. This is what I want to practice today. So as you noticed in that last example, when playing groups of 3, you need to articulate 4 groups of 3 in a 4/4 vamp before the accent lines up again with the 1. So this will be our basic rhythmic template that I want to experiment with. 4 groups of 3-beat phrases. You start on beat 1 accenting, you go a little bit into the netherworld, it's not quite lining up with the bar lines, and then boom, on bar 4 it drops back in. Experiment freely with that at first. If you have a 4-bar vamp, a 4-bar backing track, try 4 groups of 3-beat phrases, and then on bar 4, do whatever. Then come back to that same accent pattern for the first 3 bars of the backing track. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's the way to get into the general feeling of it. Now you could experiment just with that by, for example, moving our template of 3 bars with 4 groups of 3 notes, starting on bar 2 of your jam. So do whatever for a bar and then jump into 4 groups of 3 beats. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. You could do that starting on bar 3 of your 4-bar backing track, bar 4, experiment. Now I want to move on to putting this over a fiddle tune. Let's use the tune made popular by John Hartford called the Squirrel Hunters. Here it is, played as an A-B form as opposed to the usual A-A-B-B for the sake of brevity. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, since our template of 3-beat phrases uses quarter notes, let's go to the melody and skeletalize it, as I've discussed in so many quick tips before, particularly on quick tip number 1. Here's the Squirrel Hunters A-B form for brevity, delivered exclusively as quarter notes. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. insert our 3-bar template of 4 groups of 3-beat phrases into the fiddle tune. The A section is 8 bars long. Our template occupies 3 bars. So let's start by just inserting the template onto bar 1. So what's the 3-beat phrase that we'll repeat 4 times to get our syncopated feel? Well, let's just take the first 3 notes of bar 1 in this case. We'd return then to the melody at bar 4, where the accents would line back up at the bar. The 3-beat phrase we extract from our quarter note version, and when we return to the melody, we'll just go back to the classic version. So this would be our template on its own, just the first 3 notes of the first bar. So the whole template executed would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is in the context of the tune where we return to the melody after we execute that. 3, 4. That could be worthy of study for the next week, just really feeling that on a natural, intuitive level. But let's experiment more, because here we are in the Quick Tip Laboratory. What if we started our template on bar 2? Same thing. Where do we extract our 3-beat phrase? We extract it from the first 3 notes of bar 2, skeletalized version. And then in this case, we'd return to the melody on bar 5. It'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Let's keep experimenting. What if we start on bar 3? The 3 notes would be, we'd come back in on bar 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. That starts to become very interesting. The first half of the A part starts to leak into the second half. It's a very cool, syncopated, almost disorienting feeling, but really adds drama to a guitar break. Let's try one more example. What if we start our template on bar 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be the end of the quick tip and I'd be completely satisfied. But let's go a little bit further. Let's take one of these versions of our template insertion and get a little funky with it. I like the one where we start on bar 4. The little 3-note grouping is just a scale going down. That could be our motif. What if we keep with that accent pattern, keep with that motif of going down 3 notes, but maybe we can move it around, transpose it a little bit. Instead of just starting on the D, we could start on the A, on the B, but stick to our rhythmic template and always return back to the melody to give this exercise some context. This is a cool way to start bringing some theoretical, interesting rhythmic ideas into fiddle tunes you know and love. This has been quick tip number 60. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for becoming a patron and supporting the making of these videos. Lots of time goes into them. And we'll see you in 2 weeks if you're a patron.